Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Wolf and I just wanted to record a quick welcome video so that you can see my face and so that we can talk a little bit about how this course is going to run. I'm going to kind of just cover some of the questions I usually get, give you a brief tour of the website, and then talk a little bit about the syllabus. So some of the questions that I get that are kind of clarification questions through the email is about the webcam. So yes, you do need a web camera for this class. It's because I use the web camera monitoring on all 3 of your exams. I don't use them on quizzes or any other assignments, but you do have to use them for all 3 exams. That's why there's a lockdown browser practice quiz that's in your orientation module that you need to complete. This shows me that you have your camera and you're ready to go and you know how lockdown works. I use this because I've had students cheat in the past, and I've had students cheat in the abnormal psych class on exams. So I'm using the camera mainly just to make sure that it is you, that you're not on your phone, that you haven't hired someone, that you're not all taking it together, and that you don't have a whole bunch of stuff with you. Yes, there are 2 textbooks. There is a popular press book, okay, and then there is your standard textbook. Okay, I've made a discussion post to the FAQ board about what to do if you have delays in your shipping around your books, right? So feel free to check those out. I will say this one here, you can probably pick up really cheap used copies because I've been using this book for quite some time now. In fact, if you have the ability to go into Second and Charles, the last time I was there, which granted was a hot minute ago, I saw like 4 copies there, right? So you can probably pick this one up pretty cheap and stuff. And finally, yes, there are group assignments. Why are there group assignments in an online class? All of the research on effective online learning tells us that group work actually is very beneficial. The group assignments that are in this class is basically you're going to be assigned to book clubs. There's 4 chapters in this book. You're going to have a discussion worksheet for each chapter and you're going to complete them as a group. So totally a group assignment that you can handle by FaceTiming or Zooming with your group members. You don't have to meet face to face at all. In fact, please don't. So you can totally meet virtually with them to complete these discussion readings. Okay, so, but there are group assignments. So if it's still drop ad and you hate everything I just said, feel free to make other choices. I'm going to give you a quick tour of our course page. And then, like I said, I'm going to pull up the syllabus and just hit some really high points. So this is our course page. I make sure that the first part is a logo here, and that is so that you know which class you're in. If you, by the way, see your page and it says W03, that just means you're in my other section. I have 2 sections of this class. So it's kind of helpful if you tell me which section you're in when you email me, but I can also find you if you can't. If you don't need that, you can also always collapse that widget to clean up your homepage. On the left here, you'll see that I have an area that kind of gives you reminders of how to keep in touch with me. I have weekly office hours through Skype. These office hours, you can think of them as like click to chat. You just basically download Skype, you build yourself a free account if you don't already have one, and then on Mondays from 1 to 2, I just sit on Skype and wait. And so you can send me a message and we can totally talk just through texting through Skype, or I can turn on my camera and talk to you, or we can both turn on our cameras together. If my office hours don't work for you, we can schedule another time during the week for us to talk, and we can do that either through Skype or Microsoft Teams. But what I'm saying is if Mondays 1 to 2 does not work in your life and you need to talk to me, then feel free to send me an email and we will find another time to make that work. After drop ad, this start here area will be replaced by some fun pictures that I'll change out. And then we have the announcements. I do try to post an announcement anytime I do anything in the course, including opening things, grading things, all of that kind of stuff. So make sure you're subscribed to the announcements because I think that's really helpful. Right now, if you go into content, your first module here is an orientation module. This will get you oriented to the class. All right. I think a lot of things are in here are very helpful. I know that many of you might skip these because you may see it in other classes, but I would really encourage you not to skip them. This is also where you'll find find the Lockdown Browser Practice Quiz and directions for that quiz. So make sure that you're checking out orientation. Essential documents is where I will keep all of the things that are the most important. You will probably return to this module often. As you can see in the future, book club assignments and possible extra credit will be in here. You can't see those yet. But your syllabus and your course schedule are here. The course schedule is the thing that's most likely to change. And so if it changes, I will pop a new one in there and make an announcement about it. There's also links to both of the books on Amazon. You don't have to buy them through Amazon. You should always buy them wherever they're cheapest. But I put the link there so that you can make sure that you're getting the right version. There's also a document here that describes my one favor policy. I started this policy last year when the pandemic hit, and I've continued it because, of course, we're continuing to be in the pandemic. And I may continue it even after things are better because it seems to be helping a lot of students. Basically, you can think of this as an extension policy. Think of it as, oops, I missed that. Let's say something is coming due and there's no way that you can get it done, or you realize that something was due and it's still the first 24 hours since it's been due. You can invoke your one favor and turn things in late when you normally can't. So make sure that you read that favor. Many students don't ever use it. And if you don't use it at the end of the semester, I'll give you bonus points for not using it. But I have had several students who have really needed this because of everything that's going on, right? So make sure that you read it so that you're aware of the option. Okay. You do also have a syllabus quiz. You need to make a 100% on the syllabus quiz. You can take it as many times as it takes you to do that. But once you take that syllabus quiz, that's how you're going to get access to all of the future modules and assignments. Okay. So we're in Unit 1 and we're in Module 1. Your next modules will open later this week. You'll notice that I have a checklist in the module. I do a checklist in every single module to help you stay on track with all of the things that are due and going on. In this first module, you'll have a pre-test that you need to take. You are not graded on having the correct answer. I'm literally using this to see whether or not I've been effective in teaching you over the semester. So you just need to take it. There's also directions for the email assignment and for the intro discussion post. There is a small little PowerPoint, and then there's an optional survey that tells me how you're feeling about the course, okay? Almost all of your modules will be organized in this fashion where there will be a checklist, there will be a reading guide that tells you what to read and what to focus on. There'll be whatever is the other required content. There might be some optional content, and then there'll be a what's next document that tells you what's going to be in the next module. I try to stay very organized because I find that when the online environment is well organized, students tend to really appreciate that and also perform better. That being said, if it's not organized in a way that's helpful to you and you find yourself getting lost, feel free to reach out to me so that we can talk about how to clarify what you need to be successful. The other modules that are open is there's a communications module. Make sure that you watch this first video. Okay, it's super short. It's only 2 minutes, so it shouldn't take you long. And then there's just more information about how to contact me and how quickly I'm going to do things. That's that response time document. Also, if you need them, there's the privacy and accessibility statement. And your last module is a resource module where there's all sorts of helpful links. I do want to make sure that I point out that the top link in there is to KSU IT. While I can do some things, I am not IT help for you. I can't help you with your personal computing issues. So it's really important that as online students, you get very comfortable reaching out to IT. Now I've put their email address there, but I'll be honest, you get faster help if you call them. So if you run into problems, feel free to email, but also go ahead and just call IT services. Some of the other things that are really helpful that I do want to plug is that we do have a counseling center here on campus, and since this class is about abnormal psych, I think it's important that I mention the counseling services. You can see them for free as a student, but also, right now, you can see them through telemental health, so they have virtual appointments. So just because not all of us are back at campus right now because of the pandemic, doesn't mean that counseling has stopped. You can still get counseling. So if that's something that's interesting to you, make sure that you reach out to them. But do explore all of the other resources that I have here. The past thing there is workshops on test anxiety and study skills, which can be really useful. And again, they are virtual through Microsoft Teams, so you don't even have to come to campus to participate in them. So I'm going to pull up real briefly our syllabus and say a few things. So I'm jumping down to page 4, and that's because I've already covered some of the big stuff like the textbooks and that you need a web camera and how to get in contact with me that are in the first few pages. One of the things I want to make sure you do is read through our course policies. Okay, you'll find some really important information in here, like specifically how you would get a makeup exam should you ever need one. There's also a lot more information on Lockdown Browser if this is your first time using that. And there's some important information about academic dishonesty. But what most students care about is what I'm going to grade. So what I'm going to grade is described here in the course requirements area. Like I said, there's a syllabus quiz. It's not worth a lot of points, but you do need to earn 100% to be able to access all the future modules. Let's say you're like, it's only 1 point, I'm not going to do it. Well, what that means is you can't access modules 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to miss assignments that are in those. If you miss those assignments because you didn't bother to take the syllabus quiz, doesn't matter. You're still going to get a 0 for all of the things that you missed. That's why if you're going to be in this class, it's really important that you take it as soon as possible and earn 100% as soon as possible. That way you can start tackling all the things that are actually worth points. Like I mentioned, there's a pre and a post test where you don't have to necessarily have the right answer. You just need to complete them. And then I'm going to look to see if I'm effective. And then there's some other like setup assignments, like the email assignment, the browser practice quiz, your intro posts, and then I'll be assigning you to a book club after drop ad ends, and then you have to post to your book club discussion board to kind of introduce yourself to your group. So the bigger things, of course, are there are 3 exams because we have 3 units. The exams are technically cumulative because we're going to be building on all of the things we're learning, and at the end you're going to have to be able to, of course, tell all of these disorders apart. You will have study guides, and I do run study sessions before each of the exams. However, the exams are not open book and they are not open note. They are like regular exams to where you need to spend time preparing and learning and committing to memory and prepping, and then you'll take the exam through lockdown. We also have module-based quizzes. There's going to be 13 of them. You get to drop your lowest 2. Quizzes, if you miss a quiz, you miss a quiz. Because they're only worth 1 point each, there aren't any makeups for them. The quizzes are based on the readings, and every module, like I mentioned, will have a reading guide, and the quiz comes straight from that reading guide. They're not through lockdown, so they can be open note, but you only have about 15 minutes to take them, so it would be hard to look up every single question. When the quiz closes for the whole class, that's when I alter it so that you can review your attempt. So you won't be able to review what you got wrong immediately afterwards. You have to wait until it closes for everyone, and that's for, of course, testing security. And there's an FAQ post that's more about that if you have questions. There's also 4 possible unit assignments. I grade your top 3, which means that you can either skip one or I'll just drop your lowest grade if you do all 4 of them. These are kind of going deeper assignments where the unit assignment has you do more on a particular topic area. Like I mentioned, there are book club assignments. They're all based on the Waters text. There'll be like a worksheet that has several discussion questions. You're going to fill them out as a group. You can meet with your group virtually through all of the different ways that you can do that. Google Hangout, Zoom, Skype, Microsoft Team, whatever you want. I'm going to be assigning you 2 groups, and I usually do that by your major and your career interests. But what I will say is, so I'm going to assign you to groups. If you get in a group and after the first assignment you realize it's a terrible fit, you can always reach out to me and I can start to move people around. I usually have to move people anyway because as the course goes on, some students might withdraw and a group might get too small, and then I have to move some people around anyway. Again, if you find that your group is a terrible fit for you, please just reach out to me. I've been the person who's done the entire group assignment herself because nobody else would do it. I hate it when that happens. And so one of the things that I do for accountability is each one of those worksheets will have an area for names. You'll have a group name. And if everybody contributed, you just put your group name. But if they didn't, just put the names of the people who did contribute. Anybody whose name is left off will earn a 0. So if you're the kind of student who likes to not do group assignments and make everybody else do it, you might want to pick a different class through drop ad because your group mates are just going to leave your name off and then you're going to get a 0. And the last assignment that I'm going to grade is a coping skills assignment that we're going to do at the end of the course. And this is going to be where we kind of take what we've learned and put it into you as a person. I'm going to have a little bit of reading for you to do about individual coping skills and social support. And then you're going to do kind of a reflection, worksheet thing, right? On that you're going to upload, and you're going to make a discussion post about it as well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to grade. The other grading policy that I want to make sure that I mention is that I do have a language penalty. As you can see from the screen, there are 2 words that you are forbidden to use in this class. Why? Well, the reason is because those 2 words directly relate to the stigma that's associated with mental health and mental illness. And if we want to truly attack the stigma that's associated with why people don't get the help that they need and why we treat people with mental illness the way we do, then we have to start addressing stigma. And that starts from the bottom up. So those 2 words, again, are scaffolded in a whole bunch of stigma. So starting now, if you use either of those 2 words on any assignment in this class, you're going to have a deduction to your grade. Okay, now it's just 0.5 points, but that can add up if you do it over and over again. I will say historically, I've only ever had 1 student do it twice. Most students don't do it at all because they recognize that it's important and that it actually affects their grade. Also, if you catch me using those words, especially after the first 2 modules where we do have to talk about those words and how those words are associated with stigma, after those first 2 modules, if you catch me saying it in any way, then everybody in the class would get a bonus point. That happens from time to time, so keep your ears out. Finally, I will say there's going to be a couple of optional assignments through the semester, and these optional assignments are going to be really important for you to take advantage of. They're optional because they're an area for you to practice and for you to get feedback from me, but they won't be graded. Now, lots of times, if something's not graded, students aren't going to do this, but this is my impassioned plea for you to please do the optional assignments, because the optional assignments are going to dramatically help you, especially on the exam. After that, the rest of the syllabus is a whole bunch of policies. And again, I encourage you to read through them, because anytime there are policies that you're going to be policed on, you need to know what they are. And the very last part of the syllabus, of course, is our course schedule, which is a separate document as well in that essential documents module. And if I make any changes to the calendar, then that's the part that I would update for you. So I hope I've kept this brief enough that you all watched all of it. Right? I hope this has kind of clarified some of your questions, but remember, if you ever have questions about anything, even stuff that you're just curious about, you can feel free to post to the FAQ board, to email me, to stop by office hours, or to request another time to meet. Okay? So with that, I'll see you on the internet.